Hey everyone, it's me, Cheryl Couture, and I am back with my podcast, The Obsession of the 40-Year-Old Female. Today I have a very, very important guest to me. That's my sister. Her name is Sandra. Today we're going to go over the importance of knowing your worth and why a lot of Black women feel as if they are not worthy of certain things in life. So the first thing I want to do is introduce my sister. I've known her for 41 years. And she has been the epitome of a classy woman, a high level woman. And I know people there's a difference between being high class and a high level woman. So I will talk about it in another episode. But she's a high level woman, and she's been one of my heroes, including my dad and my mom. So it's my family that's my hero. And she has literally supported every single decision that I have made in life. All of them except getting pregnant the first time. Outside of that, she supported everything. You wasn't, but you ain't supported either. You weren't like, yeah, you like, girl, what you doing? You ain't even graduate school yet. What are you doing? So
but I love my Kimmy. So.
Yeah, we love her to death. But at the end of the day, at that time, she just was just like, oh no man. Right. So I just want to ask you a few things first. Okay. First of all, just tell the people a little bit about yourself, Poquito, just whatever you want them to know.
I am 47. Stop playing.
Wait, my name weird come off, laugh so hard. Go ahead.
Wow.
You should have traded. You should have had on this one. Stretched it out. It's okay. Go ahead. You're 47.
44. Oh. 44 years old. Mother of 3. Government employee, military background. In short, just been in the government since I was 19, 20 years old, and then just moving around like that. Travel the earth. Have a ton of friends from all over the place, and I just love what I do. I love creating businesses and moving forward that way. And right now, I'm getting ready for retirement, which will be in the next few years. And I'm just trying to grow my business side of my life and just, get ready for retirement.
And she's very camera shy, so if she do like this and just don't be looking,
I've been looking at the ring light for the whole
I know. It should blind you, so you should be able to look here and not see nothing. Ain't nobody even there. But either way, are you married or single?
Married.
She's married. You said you have 3 kids?
3 kids.
Okay. If there's anything in your life that you could have changed or told your younger self, either change or tell your younger self, which one would you choose and what would you say and why? You're going to pick one.
Oh, goodness. Just one.
That's her thinking.
Yes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And life is way better than whatever mistake you have made.
And my one thing would be, you can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it. You can do it.
You can do it.
That's my one thing, because a lot of people will tell you can't.
Correct.
And it's so funny. I was listening to my godfather. His name is Myron Golden. He's not my real godfather, but I've adopted him, and I'm claiming him as being my godfather. He said earlier that a lot of people try to rationalize your way of thinking and things that you want. And he said, and do you know what that means? He was on the interview. He said, do you know the definition of, rationalize? And the guy gave a proper definition. He was just like, well, basically it's when you ration out lies. He's
Ooh.
Like, my God, that'll be on a girl.
Ooh.
When you ration out lies, that means you're giving people a portion of the lies that they've been telling themselves, and they're deflecting it onto you. So they're rationing out those lies. And this is the reason a kid will be, 4 or 5 years old. I want to be a doctor, a veterinarian, astronaut, the president, everything under the sun. But because you try to be those things and it didn't work for you, you have to tell your child it's not going to work for them. And you give them that lie when it could work for them. So a lot of that environmental stuff has a huge impact on the way we think and the way we think about things growing up. And us as Black women, a lot of that stuff was basically poured onto us, not for my family, but some of my friends' family. They have to come home and they have to, make sure they clean the dishes and do all these things that, either a housewife or a girlfriend would do before even doing their homework, when they should be a child and they should do homework and they should go out and play. And then, they should do their chores or whatever. I'm not telling anybody how to raise their kid, but I just think a lot of the discrepancies start from childhood environments. Then when we grow up, we feel like we have to do these things that we were taught, not realizing that we're grown adults and we can make whatever decision we want to make. If I don't want to do my dishes for 2 weeks, then I'll do my dishes for 2 weeks. I can hire somebody to do my dishes. I don't have to do my dishes. I don't have to come home and do certain things, but that wasn't shown in my household. We didn't have a maid come in and clean up. We cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the things that I just kind of want to break the cycle of the things that we were born and brought into, and have like today is the day that it stops. Whatever I want out of life, we're going to start that today. Mm-hmm. That's when we're going to start it. So being a Black woman, especially like since you're so diverse and been around the world and all the stuff like that, what are some major things that are different between what you've seen in other countries? You like stationed in Italy and all the stuff. What are some things you've seen in different countries as a Black woman that is totally different over here in the States as a Black woman?
Oof. There's a ton of things, because one, you're talking about culture, you're talking about different forms of racism, you're talking about different forms of sexism. So it really depends on how they view you. It's the same as here. It depends on how they view you versus how their society run things. So like for women, when I was in Italy, most of the Black women was either seen as beautiful, exotic, mm-hmm. Beautiful exotic women, or prostitutes. Which one you want? Because you have, and just to back up on that story, you had a lot of prostitutes that was brought over there by like the mafia or some kind of gang or pimp or whatever, from Africa. So they'll bring women over, they'll give them some lie, like, look, I can help you get your passport or get your green card or whatever the case is, take them over there, pimp them out, make money off of them, take their papers, they can't leave, they can't go anywhere. So it's not like they're going over there and saying, hey, my goal in life is to be a prostitute in Italy. It's just the fact that they're stuck. So that became their life. And then you have some women that, they're over there and you could tell that whoever they're with, whatever they're doing, is a lot of money involved, because they look like money. They look very glamorous. Their skin is flawless. Their posture, everything around them shows confidence, shows that they know who they are. So, the cultures are different in different places, and I think that's one of the things that I respect the most when it comes to traveling, is you get to, witness and respect other people's cultures. Regardless if you agree with it or not, you get to, witness and respect it. So Italy was like that. When we went to Dubai, mm-hmm. that was different. When I dressed up and I had a hijab on,
it was
and
totally different how they treated her
Woo.
than how they treated me when I was just like basically in plain clothes.
And we was all walking
walked together, but they treated her like she was a queen, and they looked at me like,
It was a difference.
But they ain't say nothing though. So they ain't walk up on me. They can look all they want to. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them were just looking because two pretty Black women. You know what I mean? When she was covered up and all this stuff, it's like they were attracted more to that than just seeing, somebody pretty. And then when she had her face shown, but she, done up and all this stuff, they were just like, but she still had the head covered and everything on. It was too hot for that, so I was just like, whatever. You could do it. I ain't doing it.
It wasn't even that bad underneath it. But
like I said, you could do it. I had on a whole wig and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Your wig was not as thick and heavy as mine.
Right.
But you are 100% correct. What do you think is the major problem of why we cannot? The reason why I'm putting it on us, because I feel like we allow certain things. Mm-hmm. So if a man chooses to treat us wrong, we feel like we have to allow that just because he's a man or a Black man. Like, you just have to stand, like, love equals pain, or pain equals love. Like,
sacrifice equals love.
Yeah, and to me, it doesn't. I think love is love. So if you love me, there are certain things that you would do for me and protect me from and things like that. And then some women are just so overexposed to negative things, they never even equate not being hurt to love. Love actually scares them, and they sabotage relationships when they're shown genuine love. But when they're in toxicity and horrendous relationships, it's okay because that's what they know.
Yeah, that's where they're comfortable.
So what you got to say? What you got to say about that?
Run, girl!
Please.
Don't do it. No, but seriously, you have to. I'm a big believer of you have to evaluate consistently. You have to always look at and observe consistently everything, every part of life. And if you're in a position in life where you're like, I'm lonely, or I'm in a bad relationship, and you feel like you can't do better, you really need to reevaluate why you feel that way. And you have to stop telling yourself those lies because it's not true. It's nowhere close to true. We have seen, I know you have seen like some really crazy relationships where, women are getting abused one way or the other, physically, sexually, mentally, spiritually, like however you want to look at it, they're getting abused and they'd rather sit in the abuse because it's their comfort zone and they've been, lied to and said that you ain't gonna do no better than what you got right here, or they're afraid. And instead of having the confidence and the faith to remove themselves from that situation and do better.
Yeah, I talked about the fear of the unknown, and that's what my godfather said. He gonna be my godfather. He gonna be my godfather. So that's when he said that if you were to take an abused child out of the home of the abuser, that child will cry and try to get back to the mom or whoever's abusing it because that's what they know, that's what they're familiar with, instead of going into foster care and going into a loving environment that they don't know. So he's like, it's always a fear of an unknown. And he said, we always have childlike faith. So we always, if it's something is known to us or something is, what's the other word? Familiar. We'd rather stay with that and stick with that instead of doing something that's unfamiliar or unknown. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's not even a habit. It's just embedded in our DNA to be that way. So with that being said, a lot of women need to understand if they have faith in God in the capacity of like really having faith, they will understand that God will allow everything to unfold for them once they make the decision to leave that environment.
Right.
So I talked about that in my previous podcast, the Pivot Part 1. It's about having that faith, and it's going to work out. Either way, it's going to work out. And that's kind of how I've been living my life. It's just like, everybody like, sure, you be quick, just jump up and do that. Why? Exactly. Mm-hmm. Why not? It's going to work out one way or the other. Mm-hmm. The only thing I will not attach myself to is a relationship that's not working out because I have control in that whole situation. And I need women to understand that you have control of that situation. Don't think, I don't know why we limit ourselves to think that this one person is it when there's over 1 billion people in the world. You don't know where your actual mate or spouse is if you're limiting yourself to this one person who is not giving you the best.
Well, I think with that, it's mostly of our nature. Our nature is to nurture whatever it is we touch.
As black women.
Especially as black women. We nurture every and anything that we touch. So that means if you get in this relationship, and even if the relationship isn't working, you nurtured it so much, you invested so much into it, that you rather, stay with it regardless what, because you put so much into it.
Absolutely. One thing my mom told me was the reason most women are scared to leave because they want a return on the investment that they put into the relationship. Yep. So if I loved you to death, if I was there for you, if I cared for you, if I cried with you and I did all stuff, I expect you to do the same thing for me. Mm-hmm. When in reality, they don't have to do anything.
Right.
This is the realistic side of it. Mm-hmm. And most narcissistic men know this. Most men that are ego-driven know this. Some people just suck the life out of you and just leave you and go suck the life. They vampires.
Right.
But that's not the reality of it. Mom said, we spiritual people, so she's like, the seed that you sow into that person does not mean it has to come back from that person. Correct. You sow those seeds out of love and gratitude and a good spirit, and when it's time for you to reap your harvest, it can come from anybody. You're going to get it from whoever.
That's right.
So that's how I live my life. Some people be like, Cheryl, oh my gosh, you give so much in these relationships. Right, because when I finally get the person that's supposed to be with me, all the seeds that I sown into all these relationships that didn't work, I'm going to receive it from this person and or people from, around me and stuff like that. If I sow a seed of a certain amount of money and I don't get it back from that person, I'm going to get it back.
Right.
I'm going to get it back. Regardless of
they're not your provider.
They're not my provider. You almost got me about to preach up in it. So they're not my provider.
Right.
God is my provider. And if God see fit, he will drop a check in the mailbox that I ain't even know I was going to get. He'll put a deposit in my bank account. Again. He'll put a deposit in my bank account. He'll do so much for me. Just the other day, I received a deposit from somebody who I let borrow money long. I don't even remember. And they had my Zelle information. They just put the money. I texted them and said, thank you. They didn't even respond. Wow. So it's just like, at the end of the day, God is always going to be my provider. I just have to make sure that I'm sowing, even if it's not, because most of the time sowing to the right people, sowing to the right situations. Sometimes it's not that. It's just sowing from a place of love. Your heart.
Right.
So regardless if that person is good or bad, my heart was good when I did it. Whatever lies they told to manipulate the situation or whatever, that had nothing to do with me.
Right.
I was happy to give. And because I'm happy to give and I don't go talking trash about that person saying how bad this person is and blah, 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 God sees fit for me to be reimbursed, sometimes times 10 from the seed that I've sown. So that's another thing y'all have to remember. Like the way y'all loving these men that aren't fit for you or aren't good for you, y'all loving them, but don't think it goes in vain. When it's time for you to leave and God urges you and push you out the door, trust me, if this is what you really want, this relationship, this marriage, this, that, if this is what you want, God is going to give it to you with somebody better. So, what you got to say? Oh, you got purple tracks. Yeah. These so cute. Okay, sorry.
Try something different.
What else you got to say?
That was it.
That was it. She's so shy, y'all. So me personally, I don't want to make this a whole long episode or whatever. And I know people are going to have questions. If you have questions, you can leave comments down. You can DM me, inbox me, email me at info@Cheryl Couture Inc. Listen, I am 100%, I'm an open book. I'm very transparent. And I try to give y'all the best answers that I know from the things that I have done. I had to teach myself how to be a logical thinker and stop being emotional when I think about things, because my emotions would definitely tear stuff up, tear everything, tear it up, you hear me? But I had to learn to start being more logical and figure out why people do the things that they do, why hurt people. You know what I mean? Why misery loves company. I had to learn all this stuff. And I had to learn also to have, to be brave enough to remove myself from situations that are not good for me. And you have to learn how to do that as well. If a situation isn't serving you, it's full purpose that it should, you need to learn how to remove yourself from that situation without having to be dragged out of the situation every time. You're an adult, okay? You know good from bad, you know right from wrong. At the end of the day, that's all it is.
One of the main things I love to say is don't let an emotional, temporary situation become a permanent solution.
There you go.
Because you don't want that.
There you go. Say that again a little bit louder, because I don't know if the mic picked up on it.
Oh, what did I say?
You don't let a temporary emotion.
Don't let a temporary emotional solution become... That ain't what I said. Don't let a temporary emotional situation become a permanent solution. And that speaks for itself. We all know that emotions were put into us. We weren't put into emotions. That's from the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. So emotions were put into us. We're supposed to have control of our emotion. We have to understand that you can't be one thing all the time. You shouldn't be mad all the time. You shouldn't be angry all the time. You shouldn't be happy all the time. Because guess what happens when you're happy all the time? You're missing key points of things that you should take care of, and you taking a blind eye to it only because you want to be happy all the time. Mm-hmm. So you need to be able to register with all your emotions, be okay with all your emotions, just know you can't stay there. Mm-hmm. And the ones you don't want to stay in for a long time is anything negative. Mm-hmm. So I always learned that I could be extremely mad. I've been so mad at my sister so many times, and she's been so mad at me so many times, but we don't live there. There's no way in the world I can say I'm not talking to my sister for the rest of my life, or I'm never going to be in her presence because of whatever we went through at that particular time.
Unless I kick the dog and spit on the baby and slap it to the floor.
Even then,
she's still gonna be my friend.
I'm still gonna be her sister.
She's gonna be like, girl, what was you thinking? Why did you have to kick the dog like that?
Why would you do that? So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't
I wouldn't
And
do
that's
that either.
what,
I love
you
Rufus
know,
and my niecey Pooh.
that's with everything. That's with family. That's with friends. Not saying for you to be, stepped all over, but if a friend did something that hurt you, recognize the hurt, talk to them, be responsible of your feelings, allow them to be responsible of theirs, and make a decision on, we're gonna be friends from a distance, or we're gonna, try to mend and get closer to where we was before.
Right.
You probably would never get back to where you was before, only because it's kind of difficult when you have that hurt. Depending on how hurt you were, when you have it etched in your brain, it's kind of hard to get back to that point. But you can get close to it.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. I've let people go because it was in my best interest. And I took a vow to myself that my emotions come first. Right. Out of anything else that's going on, my emotions will come first. Yourself and come first. Exactly, I had to put myself first because I will always outweigh the other people's emotion. I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to see this happen to them. I don't want them to react this way. I don't want. It was never about me and me protecting my feelings. So I had to get to a point where, you know what? This is hurting me, and if you're not going to change it, then we can't be friends, or we cannot talk, or we cannot do this, because I have to put up boundaries for myself and my mental well-being.
Right.
If not, like you say, you're going to get stepped all over, and you're going to keep giving people chances who don't deserve it. Some people do not deserve access to you.
Sometimes you just need to get out of the way so you can have better people in your life.
Exactly. If this is all God gave you, and all of this is full because you're just trying to hold on to, you're trying to be loyalty to longevity. That was the book I wrote. Trying to be loyal to longevity, it's not going to work. You have to let some people go. You got to empty some things out and make room for more. One of my mentors, he said that if you want to make $20,000 a month, you have to look beyond that. You can't just look at $20,000, because once you hit $20,000, you're going to plateau.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Same thing with friendship, relationship, and all this stuff. If you want real, genuine people in your life, you cannot have this group of people and that's it. Not allow no new friends and all that stuff. No, I need the new friends because I need to see what the new friends talking about. How can they contribute to my life, and how can I contribute to theirs? If it's not a fit, if everything is a reason, season, or lifetime.
Right.
If it doesn't fit one of those three categories, it's cool to let it go.
Yeah.
It's cool to let it go. And you're going to have some people who love it, some people who hate it, some people who love you from a distance and still applaud you on your growth, and some people who from a distance that they gonna boo everything you do. Tomatoes. It is what it is. Yes, it is what it is. You cannot control anyone else's emotions or reactions towards the decision that you make.
Correct.
But you cannot make those decisions based on what you think they're going to do.
Right.
Because you don't know.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I just want you to understand that your life is your life. Stop selling yourself short because you think you haven't even experienced.
No.
You haven't tested. You haven't experimented. You just think this is what you deserve. And it's not. Some people won't even go into a high-end restaurant because they don't think they deserve that experience. Not the food, because 9 times the food don't even be that good.
Right.
I'd rather be home and cook.
Yeah.
But it's the experience, it's the ambiance, it's the entertainment, it's the networking. It's the energy. Those are the things that I go to high-end restaurants for. Not because I want to spend $700 on a plate of food.
Right.
So you have to look outside of what you're used to. When we used to go like Morrison's Cafe and Piccadilly, and we used to go to
Shoney's,
Golden Corral and Shoney's when we was growing up. So don't think it was Red Lobster all the time. That was high-end restaurant back in our day. Red Lobster was high-end. Okay.
That's it.
We went to Red Lobster on birthdays once a year, and only one person.
That's it.
One person. Who birthday?
Lobster. That's it. Everybody else, y'all getting chicken and rice.
Listen, chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders and fries.
That's it. So at the end of the day, it's like those are the things that you have to get out of your shell. Go to places that you normally wouldn't go to. Like I said, just socialize with people you didn't think that you would really socialize with. Because like I said, I met a lot of great connections in places I didn't even think that I would even be a part of. I go to cigar bars all the time. I don't even smoke cigars. I don't even like them. I take my wig off immediately and throw it in the bathroom because it stinks. Right. The clothes stink. But the networking and the connection and the atmosphere is so amazing. I frequent them very often. Most people go to cigar bars to talk business. They don't go in there, and the women know it now. So now they be in there puffing on a cigar and be sick as a dog the next day. But they got those numbers and those connections, Right. So if you're not willing to do that part, that's fine. But just saying, putting yourself in a different atmosphere to get a different perspective from different people, and stop limiting yourself to what you know with, Lil Ray Ray and all them. So
right, like, come on.
Ain't nothing wrong with Lil Ray Ray, but Lil Ray Ray just ain't for you.
But sometimes
Lil Ray Ray is for Kiki,
right?
Not you. But that's real. That sounded real judgmental. They did. I don't know what to call it, but
yes.
I just want our people to do better. I want us to break the cycle. I don't want us to continue.
I think the main thing is to acknowledge who you are, where you came from, and be okay with letting go, and be responsible too. Be responsible, and then let go of whatever the issue is to move forward. Let go of the lies. Let go of the lies of you can't do better. Let go of the lies that this is the best you're gonna get. Let go of the lies that no one's gonna want you because of X, Y, Z. Let go of the lies that you're not smart enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not whatever healthy enough. Let go of all those lies, because until you're cold in the ground, all those things are lies.
Mm-hmm. But listen, it was an exercise we did a long time ago with Lisa Nichols. And she said,
"Ooh, girl, I love that."
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I tell everybody.
I cannot remember the name of it, but it was just what she's saying. You have to write down the lie that you tell yourself, and then under that you have to write down the truth of what it is. And I think you have to write it in a red pen.
Yes, you write. I remember. Got to tell everybody. Okay, you get the index cards, right, and you write down in pencil all the lies on one side. On the other side, you write down in red ink the truth, which is pretty much the opposite of what it was on the other side. So say, for instance, on one side, like say you got like, I got 3 kids. Say you got 3 kids and you feel like no one wants somebody with 3 kids. So you write on there, no one want me because I have 3 kids. No one want to take that responsibility.
In pencil on one side.
On the other side, you write down, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing, I am valuable, everyone wants me.
And my 3 kids.
And my 3 kids. And you keep reading that red side, the red ink side, as much as you can until you start believing that's true. And when you start believing that's true, you erase all the lies on the back side. And you keep that red side in front of you. Just keep believing on that. Let me tell you, it sounds simple, but that's what will break you down.
She was crying.
I was boo-hoo crying. I'm like, oh my gosh. You're so used to hearing so much negativity that when it comes to the positive stuff, it breaks you. It's like, wait, what you mean? Everything I believe was a lie. You know,
everything I was told was a lie. Everything I was taught was a lie. Like
everything I trusted in was a lie.
It was a lie.
And the
now,
real
this is the reality. So maybe y'all want to practice that.
Maybe you should do that one day. Like do that on the podcast.
I can do a challenge.
YouTube. Do a challenge. Like do a challenge. Yeah, that should be your challenge right now.
Yeah,
let's just do a challenge. 3 things. That's it. Not a whole bunch of stuff. 3 different index cards or piece of paper or whatever you got, and write in pencil on one side whatever the lie is that you believe, and turn around and write the complete opposite on the other side. The lie is, I would never.
If y'all want me to do that challenge, drop it down below. If y'all want me to do that challenge, if so, y'all could leave y'all email address and or like inbox me your email address so I can put y'all on the list for this challenge. I think that'll be a good challenge.
That's gonna be a good challenge.
That would be a good challenge.
Amazing challenge. Yeah. I guarantee you.
And then we're gonna go on live and write those index cards together. Yep. We're gonna go on live and do it together. Y'all be knowing what lies I've been telling myself and what the truth is. So if y'all want to participate in it, follow me on Instagram and just DM me a message. So DM me your email address so I can put you on the email list for that challenge. So that was good. That was a good little. That was good.
You're right.
So if you guys got something out of this podcast today, I think this is my second time ending this podcast, but if y'all got something out of this podcast today, please leave a comment below. I need this so I can keep bringing up more topics that help y'all.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I'm trying to do. Or email me at info@CherylCoutureInc.com. Either one, I will get back in contact with you and we will keep pushing this podcast forward. And once again, I have my beautiful sister on as my guest today.
Yay.
And she was like, I'm not doing no video on YouTube. I'm like,
really, I wasn't.
Yes, you will.
Right.
So I'm glad that she did that. Yay for her.
Growth.
Growth, yes. And don't forget to subscribe to my podcast, The Obsession of the 40-Year-Old Female. And this week's obsession was knowing your worth. So I am logging off and I will see y'all later. Bye.